What's up, everybody? It's Hunter Oakley here. I'm back with another video. Commercial Diving School Week 11 is done and in the book. If you're not familiar with who I am or what I'm doing like weekly recaps on how my commercial diving up in the Divers Institute of Technology up in Seattle, Washington is. So I'm kind of keeping you guys up to date on how it is, and if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask at any point in time. Like I said, I have the first 10 weeks before this prior videos, so if you have any questions about how that goes, go check them out. But this week I'm going over week 11, and this is all on Hazmat. So it's not a ton to talk about because it was kind of a lot of PowerPoints and notes. But I'll start with Monday. We came into class, just did a lot of PowerPoints, a lot of notes. He had us download two apps, the Nosh Pocket Guide and the ERG 2020 app. I think that's like an emergency, it stands for something, emergency something guide, probably. But it's basically, so if there's a spill or any sort of chemical that we're not familiar with, you look it up. So a long time ago, they used to have books, but he said these apps are way better and faster. And so he just had us download these. And it's pretty cool because if you have a question about any chemical at all, or what's about it, what it does, what's the proper PPE and all that to enter, and if it's an emergency, say it's a spill of a tanker, semi or something, what your next few steps would be to carry out through that. Because this is our hazwoper course. It's the 80-hour course, so this is our first week of it. So we downloaded those two apps and kind of got familiar with those and checked out a couple different just chemicals and stuff like that to figure it out and be familiar with it. The next day we did more notes on this. Whole week was kind of brutal, honestly, because after we'd been out of the classroom for the past few weeks, going back in the classroom was like, oh my gosh, this sucks. But they made it fun, and I feel like I learned a lot about Hazmat, which I had no clue of anything about it at all. So did more PowerPoint notes, stuff like that, and then they had a lady come in just to kind of talk to us about budgeting in the future. Just basic stuff, nothing too fancy. Just like how to start a savings, and gave us a couple different packets and emailed us a couple different things just to start checking things out and making sure that we're not, because they said the difference between a diver that stays in the industry and that doesn't is it comes down to obviously a lot of things, but a lot of the guys get pushed out because their budgeting just isn't there, and they get a fat paycheck off their first hitch and then blow it all and so they're bumming off everybody. So they made that very clear. And then Wednesday we went over more safety. It wasn't as hazmat, it was more like OSHA safety stuff, so like ladder safety, everything, harnesses, all that. Nothing super interesting at all. And then they also brought in another one of the instructors, really cool guy. He just promoted to the job placement director. So it was the same instructor we just had for offshore. So it kind of works out cool because we got to spend a lot of time with him over the past 2 weeks. And then now he's just been promoted to job placement director. So he came in and kind of just talked to us a little bit about job placement and what we need to start looking for. Nothing too extensive yet, but they also gave us a packet just to show us how, if we don't already have a resume written, how to write it out and what dive companies exactly are looking for when you're going to a job interview, because it's a lot different than most fields, I guess you could say, or most interviews. You don't show up in a tuxedo and everything, but you also don't show up in your work clothes and all dirty and nasty. So you got to find that right balance and know how to approach these companies. So they went over a lot of that. Same thing, a little bit more budgeting and yeah, basically dabbled in the world of job placement and resumes. So that was a interesting day because it wasn't as much PowerPoints on job safety and hazmat and stuff like that, which hazmat still is pretty cool because the instructor that's doing it has had a lot of years in the industry, in the hazmat industry side of diving. So he has a lot of cool stories about how it works and how it rolls. And there's also another instructor that's sitting in, and she's got a lot of experience in it too. So if we have any questions, they surely have the answer. So that's been pretty fun. And then the last day was basically kind of a recap of the whole week. And then it was a shorter day, just to recapped everything that we did, went over a few more things that we needed to touch up on, and then we took the final for that week. So it was like a 50 question quiz. Wasn't very hard at all, and we were allowed to use those apps and stuff, which is normally just like using the book. So that helped a lot. Otherwise I would have been screwed. But he made it very clear. He's like, you can't remember everything that's in this app. So obviously it's good to have, and you always have your phone with you. You're not always going to have a book with you. So that's the pretty cool side of it. But other than that, this week has been a tough one, honestly. It was just, it just seemed super long just because it was in the classroom and we'd been out. But next week, we're going back outside, going diving Monday. So we're all amped for that. And yeah, so I will get back to you guys on week 12, but that's a wrap for week 11. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. If you have any questions about anything throughout these first 11 weeks, or even upcoming, if you have a question about anything, feel free to ask, and I'm here. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you on the next one.